What the heck have you done?
Okay, so maybe I kinda had a little bit of an ordeal with Nightmare and, kinda ended up like this, but, I mean, I'm not complaining. I look nice.
Blue, you look the same as the time that you...
Ink rubbed his shoulders and then looked at you. Noticing you the way you were kind of made Ink feel uneasy. You looked at Blue, at his new figure. He looked the same he usually did, only he had black bones and his colors seemed inverted, and it looked like someone had taken some kind of crayon or marker and scribbled little doodles all over him. And you saw tiny little error signs all over him. This could not be good at all. You looked at Dream, who was still sobbing about his cross dilemma. You couldn't remember what happened, for some reason, but then it hit you. Blue was being possessed by Nightmare, and Ink just came back after his little ordeal with Air, and Dream was still crying about Cross. And you clenched yourself. How in the world could you get caught up in so much junk? You looked to the sky as Ink and Blue continued to pester each other.
I've been given specific orders by Nightmare to get rid of that.
Okay, Blue,
unit.
calm down, buddy.
First thing to do is finish you.
Mocked.
You don't know what it's like. You don't know what it's like to be teased, mocked, made fun of for who you are, and no one seems to understand you. Well, now my new friend finally understands me, and I can finally know what it's like to suffer. He knows what it's like to lose someone you love. But you will never understand that kind of pain because you
Completely
don't have
confused
a
as to what was going
family
on.
like he
You were
does.
scared. This new version of Blue was not him. Ever since his brother, well, you know, Blue hasn't been acting himself. Nightmare has completely possessed him, and now things were completely out of hand. How could things lead to this? How could things go this far? How? All you could do was fall into a ball and cry with much pain in your heart. You heard screaming for a moment,
Human! No!
but only for a
What have you
moment,
done?
as you felt something hard fall into your head,
human.
and suddenly everything went black.
No! Dream! Call an ambulance!
There's no point. He's already gone.
Leave me.
She's still alive.
What are we supposed to do? I mean, it's not like we can physically do anything. We're
Everybody
pretty much stuck here.
calm down. Everything's going to be fine. Find some way to get out of
Ronnie
here.
just appeared
All
in
the
the
fun place. All we need to do is focus on getting out of here. I can't stand it.
Tell us what we can do.
Never mind. We're gonna find a way out of here. How in the heck are we supposed to do that?
There's a new war coming. You better prepare your butts for what I have in store. What was he even talking about?
I don't know. Whatever he was talking about, I know it's not gonna
You
be
felt a little bit lightheaded as you leaned up, and you noticed familiar faces, skeletons, surrounding you. One of them resembled a sailor, but he had the charm of a soldier. Another one looked as though he were an artist with his black smears on his face and his checker print scarf. Another one resembled Air with his red glasses and his black bones, but his hoodie was slightly off color, and he had a weird Tony accent. And the last of the few had weird bones of a jelly substance. You weren't exactly sure how to describe him. He seemed intimidating, but yet confident in a way. Why do these faces seem so dadgum familiar?
Oh, thank goodness you're awake. For a second there, I thought you'd never wake up. Oh, thank goodness.
Well, what are we supposed to do now?
I don't know. I'm not the one who came up with the plan here.
You were the
You
one
did
that said
say
wait
It
till
was
she
your
woke
idea
up.
to wait on her.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yes. I did say that, didn't I? No matter. It'll be fine. The sooner we can get out of here, the sooner we can go see our friends, and the sooner I can go see my pal Goth.
Not that this is relevant, but isn't Goth like your boyfriend or something?
What?
Dude, don't act oblivious. I've seen the way you look at him. You
I
like him,
think
don't
it's
you?
very
Sweet. It's so sweet how you look at him and how he looks at you, and oh, it's just so romantic.
I think you got a screw loose, Brent.
Oh, come on, bro, be nice.
No, I'm being serious. I mean, Goth is the son of death. Even if we do manage to get out of here, he probably went on a killing spree. That is not true. Gothy would never. Would he?
Well, you were the one who influenced him to turn good that one time. By my calculations, he's more than likely.
All of the children looked down, kind of disappointed, as disappointment and utter shock came to Pallet's eyes. You could have swore that you saw his little starry eyes fade to a darker shade of green and yellow.
No, Gothy would. He wouldn't. Would he? No. He's too nice, he's too sweet, and he's too adorable. And I don't care what you all say, he is not like that. You guys stay together. I'm gonna go try to find a way out of here.
You didn't know who this goth figure was, or who this strange person was, but you ran up to him and grabbed his hand. A flash of light, and you noticed yourself near a bar. And you noticed the strange skeleton that you grabbed his hand earlier, and you noticed another figure sitting across from him. He only had one eye, and he was wearing a white hoodie. The two seemed happy for some reason. The figure on the left suddenly reminded you of Ink, while the other kind of looked like you, shy, bubbly, and the other had such confidence. You watched the scene from behind a bush. But this scene, it seemed so familiar. You didn't know what it was. Like it was on the very tip of your fingers and you just couldn't barely grab it, like a swarming gnat.
Thank you so much for taking me out for coffee, Pallet. I really appreciate it. Though, why wouldn't you tell me what you were getting me? I wanted it to be a surprise, obviously. Now, go ahead, take a sip. Try to guess what it is. Is it pumpkin spice? You know I'm allergic to pumpkin. Don't worry, I wouldn't poison you or anything. I'm not that crazy. Wait a minute, did you just... Oh my god. Yeah, I know. Okay, go ahead. Alright, you don't need to rush me. French vanilla. Yup. With a hint of caramel creamer. Yes! Exactly! How'd you know? Well, I only want the best for my true and dear friend. Oh, friend. Right. Is something amiss, Goth?
The strange soldier-looking skeleton looked confusingly at the goth skeleton, apparently. You'd think that was his name. And he looked kind of sad. Now the pieces were all falling together. You had saw this scene before. You went on a shipping spree with some other strange figure, and you saw these two. These two skeletons were Pallet and Goth, the cutest couple in all of, well, the universe. These two were like goals for other couples, but they never quite got together. You wonder how Goth was doing now. And you notice the scene starting to fade as Goth's expression only darkened, and the scene began more and more familiar.
You know that I would never intentionally hurt you, Goth. If something's wrong, you need to tell me. I mean, we're friends. I mean, and friends are supposed to look out for each other. Just tell me what's bothering. Shut up!
Goth smashes the table as the sounds begin to fade. You hold down your head in case any silverware flies over your head, which just so happens that a couple of forks and a little bit of pieces of china fly over your head, but nothing too big. You look back on the scene to a very angry Goth and a really scared Pallet. Now this whole scene was so... You knew exactly what was going on, and you knew exactly what was going to happen next. And if you were sure on what was going to happen now, there was no way you were about to let your ship sink downhill, as it had previously before. You weren't sure if this was another timeline, or even if it was the same one, but just in case, you reached out and called for them. But nobody came.
Nobody came. Tired of you. I'm done. I'm tired of you being so oblivious to me. Either you're something or nothing.
I don't want to be anymore.
You can't act blind forever. You've been taking me this whole time. How selfish and pathetic are you?
You comfort Pallet, and you looked into his beady eyes as he looked at you in disbelief.
Did you see all that too?
You nod.
I can't believe it. I can't believe I thought it was a dream, but he's messing.
He's messing with your head, Pallet.
What?
We saw the whole thing. We're not dumb. But if it's true the way you feel about this Goth, then why don't you just say yes to him? You know he's liked you this whole time.
I don't want to ruin our friendship. It would be tragic to lose Gothy. He's so precious to me. But if I keep acting this way, then maybe someday he'll move on and meet someone else. And I'm sure he or she will be the luckiest man or woman in the world. Whatever makes him happy, as long as he's happy.
You looked down. You failed him. This wasn't the first time you failed. And this was only...